Hey there guys, TheRamosOnline here, and this is a battle I had against a guy I met in town when getting my Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire code. So yeah, I know it's crazy, but if you leave your house, you might meet people. Who would have guessed? So it's going to be an OU battle. As you can see, I only have 2 OU Pokemon, and being Mega Gardevoir and Sylveon. The rest of my team is either Borderline in Horlucha, or UU in Goodra, Diancie, and Arcanine. And my mate's team is looking to be quite powerful OU, the only UU Pokemon being that Starmie, and I think Togekiss is now Borderline. So, very scary team, very powerful team. He's going to lead things off with his Aggron, which I am quite confident is going to be a Mega Aggron because it looked to be the bulkiest thing in his team, so it was probably going to be his physical wall. So I need to get my Horlucha out of there. Despite the ×4, it might Mega Evolve, which means it's only going to be ×2, and that filter ability just means I'm doing no damage. I go into Arcanine to get off the Intimidate, not expecting him to switch out, but he does. So I go straight for my Snarl because, hey, it's a Togekiss, it's a special attacker. So if I can lower that special attack, I can lower the threat. My Windy is a physical wall. So to basically deal with special attackers, I run Snarl just to lower their special attack and force them to switch out. He goes for the Thunder Wave on my Arcanine, which is a bit unfortunate. However, I do see that I outsped it before that. So I'm now going to switch out because I didn't quite know if that was a special wall just yet. I thought it was going to be like a Power Flinch set, so I go into Diancie, who could eat up a Air Slash, and he actually Volt Switches out and goes into his Aggron. Now, I went for the rocks here. I really wasn't expecting him to, you know, want to switch, so yeah, rocks are on the field now, yay. So I go back into my Arcanine to eat up whatever this Aggron's going to want to throw out. He probably predicted my switch. Now my team is actually quite weak to this Aggron. He's probably got Earthquake on it, he's got the Iron Head, which is going to deal a lot of damage to my fairies, and he's got the Thunder Wave, which means I can't set up with my Horlucha. So he goes back into Kiwi. I went for Flamethrower thinking he might think I was going to go for the Snarl and try and make a play, but he doesn't. But I do get some chip damage off of that thing. It does go for its Wish, and I think I take this opportunity to go for a Snarl breaking through that Paralyze. So I'm going to lower its special attack, basically meaning he won't be able to do any damage to any of my things, because at this point I'm quite confident this is his special wall. Still Fairy, quite a scary core. They don't really share any weaknesses, they play off each other really well, and on top of that, Togekiss is a flying type, so any ground types are pretty much negated by that as well, so very, very scary solid core. I go into my Sylveon to get off a Heal Bell. Yeah, Heal Bell. And he does indeed switch right out. I get off my Heal Bell, Bell Chime, ring a ding 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 ding. And yeah, Winnie's now could have paralysis, so I am cool with that. Now I'm not sure if I switch out here or if I stay in. I stay in to see what he's going to go for. So I go for a Protect. He's going straight for the Thunder Wave, so I'm like, you know what? I can gauge how much damage I can do to this thing with a high voice. And as you can see, nothing! So either this thing has some special bulk, it's been trained to take special hits a little bit, or I am just completely overestimating Sylveon's not uninvested hyper voice. So with Sylveon paralyzed, I don't want to stay into like an Iron Head, so I go into Windy and I completely eat that up. I get some chip damage off with my Rocky Helmet, and he is basically going to be forced to switch. I was predicting Kiwi to come back in, and I really needed some residual damage, so I went for the Will-O-Wisp. It basically would have punished anything he brought in, but I needed residual damage on Kiwi, so that was my best play. It really was the best thing I could have done. I'm now going to instantly switch out into Diancie. Okay, so I go to my Diancie probably to try and get off a Diamond Storm. Now this is where the RNG, I think, kind of screws me over. Where I think he stays in for one turn to Wish? Yeah, and I went for my physical Diamond Storm, which would have OHKO'd this thing. It doesn't have that much physical bulk if you're running a special set, so that would have been a dead Togekiss, but unfortunately I'm fully parried that turn, and I predicted him to want to switch out, so here I go for my Hidden Power Fire, and I am going to break through now, of course I will, and do like no damage because this thing is bulky. It's fat, as a certain penguin might put it. And now I just go into Windy. I am still struggling to deal with this core. I'm starting to break down the special wall, but this Aggron is a pain. So I go into Windy to try and scare it out. He goes into Kiwi, taking some rocks damage, and I go straight for my Flamethrower to try and get some stab damage on this thing, and I get a critical hit. So that is this thing dead. Ah! Now, I'm not entirely sure what would have happened. I don't think it had Protect, so it might have died the next turn. He might have let it go down, and he might have tried to switch out. The problem is, if he switched it out, if I didn't get that crit, but he switched it out, he would have died, bringing it in on rocks and Will-O-Wisp and burn damage. So I now switch into my Goodra to take basically anything this Rotom wanted to do, because I am a Dragon type, so I will resist its stabs. I predicted, I made a play, and it worked. I went straight for a Flamethrower, and I'm gonna outspeed, get off an Ice Beam, because I wasn't quite sure what he'd want to bring in, and I think Ice Beam hit everything neutral except for that. He also could have brought in Salamence to completely eat up my Flamethrowers, so, you know, it was the safest play I could have made. So now going to Kagura, I am going to start taking some rocks damage now, because he did get rocks on my side of the field, and I don't have a way of clearing them. As I said, this is a patchwork team, I just threw it together. So I'm going to eat up his Dragon Claw, and I'm trying to go for a Heal Bell. And, yeah! RNG, why? I think he's broken my Sylveon's back, because she does not move at all for the rest of this battle, if I recall. She's saying every time I bring her in and get off like a Heal Bell or something, she's paralyzed. So I get another Intimidate off, and he actually goes for the Earthquake, predicting Windy to come in. So now he's starting to be a little bit more aggressive. It goes into Mango, and I believe I went from Morning Sun because I predicted that switch. So now Windy is going to be practically back to full health. And now I'm going to switch out into my Goodra again, and he predicted the switch. So props to him there. He goes for the Will-O-Wisp. That would have been eaten up. I could easily have gone for a Snarl or a Will-O-Wisp there. But he made the better play, because why would I leave an Arcanine in on a Rotom? Now, with the Magnezone down, I knew the best move I could go for would be Thunderbolt, and that is going to take Stardust. It's not even Sash, so that almost just one-shot it. He is going to go for the Ice Beam. That isn't going to be enough to finish off Vanilla, and his Life Orb as well, so he's actually going to take himself out there. I can't exactly switch Vanilla out. She lives on 1 HP, 1 HP hype. I can't switch her out, so I'm basically forced, well, I can switch her out. I didn't want this thing to get a Moxie boost. That was my biggest fear, really. But I give it a Moxie boost anyway, because I switched Windy in, and he predicted the switch and went for the Earthquake, which was obviously the much safer play to go for. Unfortunately, Windy is going to go down there, giving him that Moxie boost. So, yeah, that's a problem. Now, I knew Kagura could take one. All I had to do was get off a Heal Bell, and it actually switches out here predicting that maybe I was going to live it and go for a Hyper Voice. And wouldn't you know, so no Heal Bell. That was a problem. Big problem, because now I knew Kagura couldn't live anything this wanted to do. I had to sack someone, and that someone was going to be Vanilla. So I guess recalling Vanilla there was a good play to make, because it now means I won't have to lose my Sylveon to this beast. Now, all I had to do now was get this thing into a range for my Gardevoir Petunia to sweep. So I go for the Hone Claws to make sure my high jump kick doesn't miss and to boost my attack. He goes for the Thunder Wave and then goes for the Iron Head. That is not going to be enough to finish me out. I break through Paralyze, I hit my high jump kick, and I almost kill it. But that is now in a range where Petunia can just come in and sweep the rest of the game. So everything has taken some form of damage. There's going to be even more damage flying around. May switch in on the rocks. He is going to switch out his Metagross. Going to go into Mango, the Rotom Wash, and I'm just going to make it evolve. And at this range, nothing in his team is going to take a Hyper Voice. So that's pretty much game from there. He does actually take one Hyper Voice, but because he switched into it, he's unfortunately going to faint to the next one. So the build I'm using on this, you might have actually seen it if you follow PokeAMD, or PokeAim, I still can't pronounce his name properly. It's basically max HP, 184 speed with a timid nature, and the rest into defense. You don't need to do any special attack investment, because Gardevoir has naturally high special attack, plus Pixelate. Hyper Voice is not going to be tankable by many things. So now that is going to be the end of Metagross, and that seals up the game. So if you stuck through to the end, I appreciate it. I'll leave a link in the description below to my mate's YouTube channel. He does actually have a YouTube channel. He posts things like shiny hunts, that sort of thing. So that's what you like, go ahead and watch him, subscribe to him. and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be a UU battle against Chris Cobain, which was damn awesome. I will see you guys then.